All right, guys. This is one of my favorite memes. This kind of describes where we are. I mean, you got people who can see what's happening to our country. They see it burning down, and they're just like, this is fine. It's whatever. It's whatever. Actually, this is probably Joe Biden right now. Only thing missing from that is some ice cream. Then you got other people that are kind of like this. This is a good example right here. We know people like this. We all
This
know
is
people like
fine.
this.
I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. Things are gonna be okay.
I hope I don't get hit with copyright for that. Oh well, it's all good. Guys, it just gets crazier. Every single day just gets crazier, just gets wilder. We reach a new low. The Hunter Biden's dad just continues to deteriorate in front of our eyes. I mean, the optics are just terrible. The optics over the last 30 days specifically have just been really awful. Like the people clinging to the plane as it left Afghanistan falling to their death, the Haitians storming the border by the tens of thousands. And now you got these cargo ships stuck in a holding pattern, not just on the West Coast, but at Savannah, Georgia, New York City, all around the country. So let's just hear what they have to say about what's going on right now.
The traffic in Los Angeles these days is not just on the roads, it's in the water. Cargo ship after cargo ship wait to come to port as supply chain snags due to the health crisis have upended the ocean shipping industry, which moves roughly 90% of the world's goods. Gene Soroka is executive director of the Port of Los Angeles.
The quickest route from Asia to the United States and interior points is through Los Angeles. And that's what everyone is trying to maximize at this point in time. But it's like taking 10 lanes of freeway traffic and squeezing them into 5.
The ripple effect of parts shortages and displaced workers, from truck drivers to dock hands, has created an exasperating global supply crunch, making it difficult for retailers to keep stores and online fulfillment centers stocked and putting holiday sales that make or break company profits in peril.
I should have paused it as we went through because I want to make points about what was said. First of all, they're blaming the health crisis. The public health crisis is why we have these shipping yards that are unstaffed and understaffed, and that's why we have boats just chilling out in the water, 76 to be exact, right off of the coast of Los Angeles there in California. They're making it sound like it's just the public health emergency. It's not government action. It's a public health emergency. That's why COVID-19 is the reason why this situation is happening. This is why we have a disrupted global supply chain, is because of government. But they're saying it's because of the virus. And then the guy that just talked, let me go back to what he said, actually, because I want to get everything. Okay.
The quickest route from Asia to the United States.
Oh, that's right. That's a big point too, right there. Goods coming from Asia. Now, if you look around your house, everything in your house comes from where? China. It comes from overseas. China, India, Bangladesh, somewhere over there in Asia. Buy American. Now, I know obviously we can't get everything here. Not everything can be manufactured, made here, but we wouldn't be in half the problems we're in right now if we weren't so dependent on goods being shipped over. I used to work in corporate retail, so I'm somewhat familiar with logistics and supply chain operations and all that. And sometimes things happen. You'll have shipping delays. You'll have workers on strike, workers on leave. You'll have docks that need to be maintenance. You have the Chinese New Year and that they close everything down. So you have to air freight stuff. There's a whole bunch that goes into it. But for it to be backed up like this right before the holidays, and they're just saying, oh, it's because of the virus, is a way for them to scapegoat and just totally just bypass the fact that government did this. This is man-made. This is artificial. They did this. Okay, now let me get back to the this other point I want to make.
Crunch, making it difficult for retailers to keep stores and online fulfillment centers stocked and putting holiday sales that make or break company profits in peril. Soroka said the LA port alone is grappling with a 30% surge from last year's record container volume. That's impacting companies like toy maker Exploding Kittens, says its COO, Carly McGinnis.
Our newest game, Throw Throw Avocado, has been there for about a week, delayed, and it took about 50 days to get it there, so it's already delayed. We also had a container of our most popular game, Exploding Kittens, stuck at the Port of Long Beach for 2 weeks.
Desperate to get their goods, the company thought about chartering a helicopter to try to pull their container out of the shipyard and renting a U-Haul to unload it themselves.
Luckily, it was finally released a couple days ago, but it has severely impacted our pickups for Walmart, Target, Amazon.
Some of those major retailers, including Walmart, Costco, and Home Depot, came up with a workaround by chartering their own smaller cargo ships, or ones that usually carry coal or grain, to ship toys and other holiday items to the U.S., as space on traditional container ships is limited. But smaller stores have fewer options.
This is certainly going to impact the mom and pop shops. They don't have the ability to get goods in.
Another option is to ship sooner than later.
So mom and pop shops, that's who's going to be impacted by this. As far as store shelves being stocked, I mean, they're decriminalizing shoplifting. I've seen several videos of people just running out of Nordstrom's and Louis Vuitton. This is crazy. And I get the feeling we're not getting all of the information. There's more to this. But with who it benefits and who it impacts the most, you can tell that this is economic warfare. That's what it is. Bankrupting the middle class. They say the virus and the public health emergency are why all these businesses had to close. No, government forced those businesses to close and didn't let them reopen until it was damn near too late, especially businesses that operate near the margins, like pizza places. They don't make a whole lot off of what they sell. This is a way for them to bankrupt the middle class. This hurts the middle class. Big corporations like Walmart, Target, they're going to be fine. They got giant warehouses. They, like I said, I understand the supply chain and how big retailers can overcome this because they have to plan for it all the time. But this hurts everybody else. So mom and pop shops can't stay in business. They can't keep items on the shelves. And then because shipping container costs have gone up, it costs more to ship items over. Now, again, of course, you can obviously buy American products that we don't have to worry about it. But not everybody can do that. Some people get their stuff cheaper from China. China undercuts the market. That's just kind of the way it is. But this whole thing is economic warfare on the American citizen. Now, this is an interesting website that I found today, marinetraffic.com. So you can see all of the boats that are in the little harbor here at Long Beach. You can click on each boat and see when it got there, when it left. Some of these boats have been here for like 3 weeks. People are they're just sitting on these boats, just waiting. These cargo ships, look how many dots are on the screen here. This is ridiculous. You can see it from the coast. I saw videos of people on the beach. They're just looking out, people surfing, and then there's just cargo ships just hanging in the background. And like I said, it's not just in LA. It's all through the Gulf of Mexico. Look at all of these boats. Now, some of these are tracked right now because it tracks their route and everything. So you can see the location and when it was last. The coordinates were like this one was received 11 hours and 35 minutes ago. But look at this, all through the United States and on the East Coast up here. If you zoom out, it looks like chaos. Now, I'm not an expert at analyzing a map like this, but I think the average person could tell like, hey, there's something going on here. There's a lot of activity, especially right up near the ports of entry. They're attacking our supply chain. Now, what they're not telling you is that, yes, the public health emergency is their excuse to launch this economic warfare, to consolidate power and wealth and consolidate the global supply chain so that only a handful can control the market. That's why big box retailers stayed open and your mom and pop business had to close because it was dangerous. That's how it works. That's what they've been doing for the last year and a half. And now they're saying there's no end in sight for the COVID-led global supply chain disruption. So you see, they're blaming it on COVID. But then down here in the article, they're saying stress in the supply chain predates COVID. The trade tensions, particularly between the US and China, escalated under President Trump with the introduction of unprecedented tariffs and sanctions on Chinese companies. So retroactively, it's Trump's fault. So if you really want to blame somebody, blame Trump. No. You blame Biden. He is the commander in chief. This is how it works. You know, there are a handful of people in the country who have recently discovered nuanced perspectives. And now if you try to tell them like, hey, what's Biden doing? Look at this. Well, it's not just Biden. There's this, there's that. But before, everything was Trump's fault. If Trump were in office right now, this would be on him. The bucks would stop with him. But now you got all these news outlets just saying, well, it's just COVID. It's just this. But if you want to really say something about it, I mean, it was really before COVID. It was Trump. It was Trump and his tariffs. Well, no, Trump was tough on China. China manipulates us. This is good for China. They love this. They love to see our country weakened. And they know that the guy occupying the White House isn't going to do anything about it. He's just going to sit around, eat ice cream, hide in the basement, mumble through an interview, gibberish, talking about his grandpop and all this other stuff. It makes no sense. While people are out there struggling, suffering, and this artificial shortage. I noticed a lot of artificial shortages last year. I have no idea what the run-on toilet paper was, but do you guys remember seeing signs about coin shortages? You can't pay with cash. You can only pay with cards. What was that about? That's why I say I feel like when you think about who this benefits, the global supply chain being brought under one umbrella of control and just a handful of players that have the means of access to kind of, you know, finesse the situation for their benefit. That's what's happening here. So we'll see where this goes. But I think if Biden is in office, he should be doing something about it. He should at least have something to say about it instead of having all these news outlets saying it's just the ongoing thing. This dates back to last year. We know it's BS. And there's more that they're not telling us. There's more about this. I'm willing to bet, and I know there's a lot of information. Sometimes people, they'll message me after a stream, and they'll be like, didn't you know about this? And I'm like, no, actually, I didn't. There's so many moving parts to all of these stories. There's a lot of stories. You see, I got a lot of tabs open here. We're going to go through all these tabs. That's all I could fit in one live stream. There's more going on here with oil and I saw an article with a headline talking about how this just puts more dirty air in Los Angeles. So they're using this crisis, this man-made crisis, which is a sub-crisis from the public health emergency, to try to push the climate change narrative. Well, this makes the air and air quality in Los Angeles much worse with all these. See, everybody's just kind of feasting in on this. Everybody's cashing in, so they use it to their advantage. As Rahm Emanuel said, never let a crisis go to waste. So this is just really sad. I mean, the inflation, if you look at the consumer pricing index, prices, like the price of goods is going up, price of lumber. I mean, damn, guys, this is bad. And some people are saying there's no end in sight. Some are saying, oh, the inflation will start to wane next year or 2023. I'm just like, I don't know. I really don't know because I'm not an expert on this, but all I know is somebody's launching war on the middle class and on the United States, on the Western world, on everybody, really, on humanity. And it's those damn globalists. Speaking of corrupt swamp creatures, AG Garland has a conflict of interest with Facebook and critical race theory. So while he wants to go after you and label you a terrorist because you're standing up to indoctrination of your kids, which apparently you don't have the right to do, he's over there with his big fat conflict of interest. Attorney General Merrick Garland is under scrutiny after a parents group revealed that his daughter is married to the co-founder of an education company funded by Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg that allegedly employs critical race theory. You guys thought that was bad? No, it gets a little bit worse. Parents are also concerned over intrusive surveys and screeners that ask 12-year-olds if they are pansexual or gender fluid. The surveys are often created/administered by Panorama Education. Merrick Garland's daughter is married to the president of and founder of that company. So, yeah, so he's got this little thing here where, of course, he's going to send the FBI and weaponize the DOJ against people who are calling out this evil indoctrination of kids, this sexualization, subversion of their innocence, all taxpayer funded. By the way, these public schools, these left-wing school boards and teachers unions, they're all lobbying Washington, D.C., and it's all based on vague things, threats, harassment. Really? Where? Who? Isolated incidents should be reported to local law enforcement. Why are you getting the feds involved? Because I'm sure there are some crazy people out there. I'm sure there's some parents that are like, threatening towards school board members. I have no doubt about that. They're pissed off. So, of course, you're going to get your outliers there. That's what local law enforcement is for. Okay. But getting Merrick Garland, getting the feds involved just says, hey, we got to protect our interests here. You need to protect your interests there. You might want to know about what's happening here. So, yeah, his daughter's husband or his son-in-law is making money off of indoctrinating your kids. Ugh, guys, I'm just saying, like, if this were Donald Trump, if this were Donald Trump's AG Barr, or who did he have before that? Jeff Sessions. Bad AG, by the way. What would the narrative be? But this would just go unreported like everything else. Shout out to CNS News, who has a whole article about this, detailing everything that this corporation is doing to indoctrinate kids. The Panorama Education, if you want to look it up. Panorama Education. Merrick Garland's daughter is married to the president and founder of that company. So, yeah, while he's worried about you, he should be worried about this. But will there be consequences? I doubt it. It's just kind of the way things are, right? Rand Paul tells Americans, be afraid amid DOJ schools threat policy. So Rand Paul's telling you to fear the government. I'm not really a fan of him saying that. I like Rand Paul a lot. He understands what's going on, but that's not a good thing to say. He says moms and school boards are being told that they are criminals, potential domestic terrorists for the crime of dissent, Paul told Fox News Primetime. And I think criminalizing dissent is something that we should all be appalled with. See, I like Rand Paul, but there's not that fighting spirit. There really isn't the fighting spirit there. Instead of saying something along the lines of, we should not fear the government should fear us. We should be, because they work for us. And I'm not saying they should fear us because we're going to get violent, but I mean, it's like we broke away from England because we were not afraid of the government. That's kind of how that works. When the government gets tyrannical, I mean, you know the rest. I'm just saying, for the sake of the YouTube algorithms there, I don't want it to seem like, oh, yeah, I'm inciting. It's like Rand Paul should really have worded this differently by saying, this shouldn't be how it is. It should be the other way around because they work for us. We're not their servants. We're not at their whims where they can just be like, hey, we're doing this to your kids. And if you notice and try to take action, we'll crush you. You gave birth to them, you raised them, but we own their minds, we own their futures. We get to control their worldview. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. This situation here, and let's see how the FBI is going to be mobilized against these concerned citizens and parents alike that are very concerned about the disgusting indoctrination of their children. I mean, I don't know exactly where the video is. I want to pull it up right now just because we're on topic. This right here is a prime example of why parents are concerned with the treatment of their children. This is a teacher.
Bitch, I don't care. I don't care. You get out video me again. You get out mine. Get out right now. Get out my face. Bitch, I don't care. I don't care. You get out video me again.
So this teacher, this psycho, this unhinged woman with this crazy dyed hair is breathing on one of her students. I mean, how many more videos do we have to see like this? And then parents, when they see these videos, they get pissed off, go to the school board meetings, and then Merrick Garland comes in and says, you can't do that, we'll crush you. And now, again, it's not just the critical race theory aspect, it's the total and complete brainwashing of children before they even get a chance to experience the world for themselves. They're being told how the world is. They're being taught ideology. Meanwhile, you got like reading, math, science scores horrible in cities like Baltimore, Los Angeles, New York City. The school districts suck. Even in Florida, the schools suck down here. But you got this indoctrination, these crazy teachers. It's not even just the curriculum, it's the people teaching the curriculum. And parents, when they get pissed off because they have common sense and they can see that their children need to be protected, and just people who don't even have kids would go up there and be upset. When they go up there to do that, they're getting crushed by the government. But Rand Paul said you should just fear the government. Fear them right now. That's not a solution, Rand. I'm sorry. Like you, but that's not it. That ain't it. Now, moving on to our whistleblower, guys. The January 6th committee wants to hear from the Facebook whistleblower on any role the platform had in the Capitol insurrection. So they're concerned and they want to know what role Facebook played, but they don't care about the role Facebook played in the 2020 election or in the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story or in the promotion of the Russia collusion story and all the other fake news. When they say misinformation, they mean any information they don't like. While they project their misinformation, all the fake news, all the stories that have come out and they had to issue retractions over fake news that was just spread wide on their platform. They do not care about the truth. They care about their narrative. They care about their agenda, and they're going to crush you. So this is just more evidence that she is not who anybody thought she was, except for people who are completely like mind controlled. I mean, she even got her own verified Twitter account. I didn't know this yesterday when I reported on it. She had a verified Twitter account. You could not script this any better. This is the most astroturf thing ever. We've had whistleblowers before. We've already known that stuff. Even before some of those whistleblowers came forward, we already had a suspicion like, yeah, there's something shady here with Facebook. I mean, it was so obvious when they were like censoring Diamond and Silk and David Harris Jr. and Candace Owens. They randomly, Candace Owens got her Facebook page deleted. But because she has such a big following, she raised awareness and then they gave it back. Like, oh, sorry, it was our mistake. Really, all the mistakes tend to go in one direction. I mean, it was really obvious before. So you had whistleblowers come before, so she didn't reveal anything new. And yet she's getting this red carpet treatment. She's getting paraded around the media. She'll probably have a book deal. She'll be a panelist on CNN. And now she's working with the January 6th committee. What a shocker. Brand new Twitter account that just got set up and a blue check mark. off top. She's instantly high profile. I'm telling you, there's so much to this woman that we still don't even know. So we'll see where this goes. But yeah, nobody with two brain cells to rub together can deny that this is fraudulent. Woke war erupts in Chicago as District Attorney Kim Foxx says she's mortified Mayor Lori Lightfoot called for charges over deadly street shootout last week. This is crazy. I never thought in a million years that I could agree with Lori Lightfoot on anything, but I guess a broken clock is right twice a day. I mean, multiple things can be true at once. She can be a horrible, ridiculous, racist, bigoted mayor, but she could also tell the truth about something she saw with her eyes, just like you saw with your eyes. I cannot play the video here, but it's literally suspects shooting people, shooting back and forth. And Kim Foxx says there's no evidence, and Lori Lightfoot's crazy. Real-time gaslighting. And this Kim Foxx, a George Soros puppet, she is also the prosecutor that didn't bring charges on Jussie Smollett, actually had to recuse herself, and then she unrecused herself, and she's closely linked to the Obamas and Kamala Harris. You guys know I showed that flow chart the other day with George Soros and how he is funding all the chaos in our country, and it was really apparent last year, and it's also been apparent years past, but specifically last year with all of the crime waves from coast to coast, from Seattle to New York City to Los Angeles to Atlanta. Every corner of the country had some form of riots, and a lot of those rioters got bailed out because of prosecutors like Kim Foxx, district attorneys. And then, of course, loser mayors like Lori Lightfoot. These Democrat-controlled areas are just not safe. They're declining, and people are trying to get out and try to move to Florida. That dangerous peninsula, dangerous freedom. But Soros prosecutors are also dropping charges and releasing violent hardened criminals into San Francisco, Los Angeles, St. Louis, and other increasingly undesirable cities. The result has been a national crime wave disproportionately concentrated in those cities. This is a major reason why there are so many additional Black lives that ended violently in 2020, as the FBI's latest data indicate. This is where soft on crime liberals are taking the country. So it's sad. The people that scream, I love Black people so much, Black Lives Matter, they go radio silent and say, this is fine. This is fine. When, Black people are ultimately impacted by the woke policies that they support, like open borders and these medical mandates. Those, disproportionately affect the people that they claim, oh my gosh, we love you, Black people. We're trying to save you. Please let us. So we can pat ourselves on the back while ruining your life. Yeah. So there's that. Wow, I'm going through these tabs pretty quickly today, guys. Actually, we're 30 minutes in, just about. Now, this is a big one right here. I cannot go into it, but I will read you the headline, and you can find this from Newsweek. China purchased mass quantity of PCR tests months before first reported COVID case. Chinese labs in Wuhan purchased an increased quantity of coronavirus testing equipment several months before the first virus case was reported to the World Health Organization in December 2019. New data procured by the Australian-US cybersecurity firm Internet 2.0 found that there was a buy-up of PCR tests by nearly 50% throughout 2019. Wow, amazing foresight by China. Got to figure out how to be a psychic and read the future like China did. They just happened to know that we were going to be in this public health emergency basically a year in advance. Cool. And I'm sure this is completely unrelated. NIH Director Francis Collins' resignation has nothing to do with Wuhan lab leak theory. It's just a theory. It's not a smoking gun or anything like that. You know, it's there's nothing to it, you guys. But he just wants to assure you that him resigning after it came out that this may or may not have come from a laboratory, and gain of function research was to blame, and China was able to develop independent protocol on how that was going to be conducted. I mean, he resigns, and there's no relation. He just wants to reassure you of that, and he goes on Fox News to tell you that. So this is aimed at you, conservatives. Don't think outside the box. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Thinking for yourself is bad. Even Fox News knows that. Here's another one I cannot go into, but I could just read the headline. Another interesting tidbit here for you guys today. U.S. COVID-19 deaths for 2021 surpassed toll from 2020. So this would mean, since Trump is not in office, all the 2020 deaths, 100% of them were his fault. We're in 2021 and there's more deaths. So whose fault would that be? I wonder. I don't know. Maybe the guy that got 81 million votes. Interesting, guys. Very interesting here. Can't go into it, but this article is from Forbes. Another thing I can't really go into, but I'm going to read the headline. You can look it up for yourself. Sweden, Denmark, and Norway curb Moderna's COVID-19 Kool-Aid for some younger patients. So younger patients are not getting the Kool-Aid in Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Man, I never thought I would be like so on board with the Nordic model right now. The Nordic model on how to, who knew that they would be leading the way in human freedom? Wow. Sweden, Denmark, Norway are just, they're leading the charge right now. But yeah, this is interesting read right here. And this is from, I mean, you can Google this, but I got it from the Denver Channel 7 News. So it's a local news in Colorado. Now, Arkansas, you have officially a rhino governor. And maybe you already knew that. I don't know if anybody's watching from Arkansas. Your governor's a rhino. How do you know that? Because number one, he regretted lifting all the mandates. He went on record to say that. So off top, you can't really have much confidence in a person who feels that way. But Arkansas lawmakers gave final approval Wednesday to legislation requiring employers to let their workers opt out of getting the Kool-Aid, a move opposed by the state's Republican governor. So the governor opposes the people of Arkansas exercising human rights and freedom. He opposes it. Republican governor. What a shame. You know, maybe Trump needs to visit Arkansas. Maybe there needs to be a probing into the situation. There has to be somebody that can run for Arkansas that believes in freedom. I mean, this doesn't affect me because it's not my state. I'm just here to raise awareness. If you live in Arkansas, your governor's not really on your side. Now, Kirsten, or almost said Kirsten Gillibrand. She reminds me of her for whatever reason she does. But Kirsten Sinema has been harassed yet again. And I think that, since we know it's now been confirmed that this is a Soros-backed organization that is harassing her over this Build Back Better agenda, somebody's feeding them intel, letting them know where she's going to be and when. And then it sounds like it's the same people, but this is so obviously coordinated.
And went up
And they went up.
to bring them back. So we call that the Mayo Shuttle.
I love it. I love it.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi there. Hi, Congresswoman. Who are you gonna leave out for the Build Back Better Biden agenda? Can you talk with us, please, today, Congresswoman? Senator Sinema, would you please tell the majority of Americans who support Build Back Better why you won't vote for it? Who are you going to leave behind? Seniors who need health care, folks who need housing, the climate crisis, who are you going to leave behind, Senator?
Yeah, so that'll be fair. That's That's actually how it should be done. If you're going to talk to a congressman, a senator, keep a safe distance, approach them in a place where it's outdoors. It's not like they blocked her from moving anywhere. This is how you should do it. But still, who got this location? Why are they pressuring her and Joe Manchin? We know why. It's Soros-backed people, Soros-backed organizations and people going specifically citing Build Back Better. And so this makes the third time that she's been harassed. Now, will she cave? Will Joe Manchin cave? It looks like she's dealing with it just fine. I mean, she doesn't seem offended or like fazed by it at all. It's not really bothering her. She might as well just, I don't know. I was going to say something that she should leave her party and join a different one, but I don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, they're pushing this agenda, this Build Back Better agenda. Remember how I said this is not a unique slogan to the United States? Here's Build Back Better UK. Michael Tracy tweeted, still can't get over that the Democrat Party and the UK Conservative Party literally have the same slogan, Build Back Better. So Boris Johnson's conservative, so-called Conservative Party, are trying to build back better. Canada, Building Back Better, a plan to fight the COVID-19 recession. Build Back Better. Remember, guys, there's no agenda. Right-wing conspiracy. What else you got? You got New Zealand. Government remains focused on building back better. Man, it's a globalist slogan. It's a UN slogan. It's a Great Reset slogan. All orchestrated, all designed, all laid out for you. All these countries that are trying to build back better after this perfectly timed public health emergency that China knew about a year in advance. Don't forget that. China knew about a year in advance. Fauci knew about it in 2017, but that's a whole nother deal. And now that everything has been collapsed, they're going to build back better. So just go along with it. I think I got through all of those tabs in record time. There has to be something else out there that I have not covered, but I will engage with the chat while I figure out what else there could be that I should cover. And I did get a super chat from Miriam. Miriam says, it's crazy how people believe all this government, people that lie to us every day. The big tech and fake news are the false prophets that the Bible talks about, and they lie all day long. Yeah. So true. I mean, people have to snap out of it and wake up, but some people will not wake up. Some people absolutely will never wake up. No matter how bad it gets, they're not going to wake up. They're not going to see it. Hit that like button, says Rachel. Thank you. Yes, make sure you guys hit that like button for me, please. I normally open with that, and I normally open with reminding everybody to subscribe to my second channel. My second channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification. I know people sometimes get unsubscribed from my channel, which is really bizarre. I get unsubscribed. Sometimes the very second I upload a video, within seconds, the sub count will drop. So it's very weird. This channel just doesn't tend to grow unless there's word of mouth. People, once they find it, they're like, wow, I didn't even know this channel existed. But isn't that a crazy coincidence, you guys? All those countries that have the same slogan of Build Back Better. Isn't it just a coincidence that China knew about it ahead of time? It's just, wow. Amazing foresight. Agenda 201 or Event 201? This is just, they just got lucky, I guess. They just happened to hold that exercise simulation just months before it happened. Thank God they got it in the nick of time. That timing was just perfect, wasn't it? For them to hold that pandemic exercise. And then, wow, a couple months later in an election year, just all happens to just come out. Wow. Very interesting. But yeah, I encourage people to look into some of those articles that I had covered. Wow, we have a much bigger audience today. 221. Wow. This is great. Love it. Appreciate everybody for being here. Make sure you all hit that thumbs up if you're a new sub and hit that bell notification because I go live every day with the exception of tomorrow because I'm traveling. Trump rally on Saturday, Des Moines, Iowa, 7 p.m. Central Time. No, guys, there has to be, while I have this audience here, there's got to be some other stories. We can actually just, because I got done so quick. Usually I go an hour. Let's just see what is out there. Let's go and search around. There has to be some news story that is broken. Sometimes Daily Mail just has gossip stuff, but this is usually pretty solid. Oh, the mass shooting in Texas. There's a mass shooting in Texas yesterday, and I think that actually happened during my live stream. But I think that this mass shooting, because of the race of the suspect, will be buried quickly. Just like that mass shooting, I want to say last year or the year before, at Virginia Tech or Virginia Beach. Sorry, there was a mass shooting in Virginia Beach, and that got buried because, you know, anytime you hear about a shooting and then there's no follow-up and they don't plaster the suspect's face all over TV, I think you know why. Kind of like how that Asian Lives Matter hashtag just vanished. It just vanished. Nobody talks about it anymore. Once they realize, damn it, we can't frame white people for this. It's not going to work. So I don't see a lot on Daily Mail here. I don't like this layout. Where's my other trusty news source? Gateway Pundit. They usually have some solid stuff here. Let's see what we got here. University of Colorado Hospital System denies woman's life-saving kidney transplant. Will no longer provide organ transplants to unvaccinated patients. Wow. Just repeating history. Just outright discrimination. Just totally discriminate. Let's just alienate half of the country, more than half the country. Ooh, something going on in Maricopa in Arizona. But if it doesn't, my thought is if Hunter Biden's dad still has the nuclear codes, what difference does it make? I mean, it's good for the future. Yes, it's good to know all of that. But if he's still in there, if it does not change this situation, Biden blasts Republicans from production set near White House. Raising the debt limit is paying our old debts. It has nothing to do with new spending. Oh, yeah, that spending bill that's going to cost $0. It's going to cost $0, just like there wasn't a shooting on camera in Chicago, just like all the other gaslighting, fiery, but mostly peaceful. Let's go, Brandon. A desperate attempt to control the narrative in real time. As you see buildings burning, as you hear the chants of F. Joe Biden, they try to just it's desperation. Say, you got to say something, Miranda. Go say something. Somebody was in her ear, probably. You got to say something. She's like, yeah, let's go, Brandon. Just like, yeah, that spending bills, nothing. $0. Oh, and then, yeah, I want to issue a little mini retraction on my part. At the beginning of the week, I talked about Merck. They have a new treatment that's out or whatever, and they're trying to get approval for it. And I said, that's probably a good thing. But then I realized that it may or may not be a copy and paste of the, let's just call it Joe Rogan. I've got to use the code words, guys. I'm just happy you guys can pick up what I'm putting down. So yeah, that's not a good thing. If it's going to cost more, but basically it's the Joe Rogan. I mean, what? I guess it's not that good. It's just, it's always profits over people. Always. Anyway, thoughts on the $1 trillion coin? I haven't heard anything about the 1 trillion. Actually, I've heard briefly about it. I don't have much thoughts on it. That's one of the things I don't really talk much about, if at all. I don't talk about crypto. I really don't get into the weeds on financial stuff. Just like medical stuff, legal stuff, I leave that alone. I don't have much to say about it. According to Michael Knowles' Daily Wire, there are people coming to the southern border and they say they are ready for war against the USA. They have body armor and AK-47s. According to who? Michael Knowles in the Daily Wire. Is it on Twitter? Let us find out. Come on. Slow. Okay. Michael Knowles, Twitter. I don't see him posting anything about it at all today. I see nothing about it today. I've heard nothing about it. What other stories, guys? There has to be something. And I mean, if there's not, that's fine. I'm really surprised that I had so many tabs open. I thought it would be a full hour, and I got through it in 45 minutes. Less than 45 minutes, really. Yeah, but our borders kind of cease to exist right now. Beto O'Rourke, who wants to run, I think he is running for the governor of Texas. He said in an interview like 3 years ago that he would tear down the existing border wall. So that tells you what he thinks. And I wouldn't doubt if he happened to be on Soros's payroll one way or another. Somebody that wants to dissolve borders, challenge sovereignty, and discourage patriotism. Oh, Michael Knowles on YouTube. Okay. Well, I'd have to look into it, so I can't say anything about it. All I know is, what are gas prices where you guys are? How about that? What are the gas prices where you live? We're at 309. I know a lot of people laugh at that. That's really high for an area like Florida. It's really high for a southern state to have gas that high. 309 a gallon is where we are. $3, but you got to say where you are. I don't know. It's extremely high, DM. Like, look at the gas prices compared to, and of course, everybody's saying gas prices are up because people are back on the roads because restrictions are starting to ease. The mental gymnastics they're never ending. $3.89 in Nevada, $4.30 in California, $3.50 in Alabama. That's ridiculous. $3.50 in Wyoming, $3.40 in Alabama. How could they be more in Alabama? Mike, will you be at the Iowa Trump rally Saturday? Yep, that's why I'm not live streaming tomorrow. I got to travel. $4.39 in Los Angeles. That sounds normal. Sounds about right. Southwest Missouri, $2.87, $2.97 to $3.15 in Florida. You know, we held on at $2.99 for the longest. And I thought to myself, they're trying to make the appearance that it's cheaper. You know, how like 99 cents is cheaper than $1. Subconsciously, you just see it that way. You're more likely to make the purchase if it's 99 cents. That's why I put 99. I think it's psychological. Yeah, I don't know what else to cover. We've covered everything from the whistleblower going to, well, has been invited to or is subpoenaed. I don't really know how it works. But that whistleblower, air quotes, whistleblower, is wanted by the January 6th committee. So they're just feasting on it. Just too perfect. Seamless thing. Breaking. 18 former NBA players have been arrested and charged federally for defrauding the NBA's health and welfare benefit plan. I hear that NBA players traveling to Toronto, if they break restrictions or guidelines, protocol up there as it relates to the sickness, they can face criminal action or criminal charges. There's a new Dave Chappelle stand-up that I hear is triggering people. I'm going to have to check it out. One of the last funny comedians that was not politically correct. even as recently as like 2018, I feel like people like Daniel Tosh were still not PC. See, there's For Me, and then what's actually trending. Venmo is trending, Newcastle, Hobby Lobby. See, they radicalize you or polarize you by giving you stuff that's going to make you upset. But if you just look at what's actually trending, like if you turn off the political knob, you just turn it off, then life is easier. People are happy. You go outside, people aren't trying to. This is how things used to be. That's why this hat, Make America Great Again, will always be relevant. As long as we're in this situation, it's never been more relevant or more legitimate than right now. Because now, even people before, they have something to compare it to. Before, remember when Trump first debuted this hat? First of all, Reagan said, Make America Great Again. Nobody cared. Clinton said it and nobody cared. But it wasn't until Trump where they're like, he wants to bring back slavery. That's what he means by Make America Great Again. And all of his racist followers and fans, they just want to see slaves again. They want to turn back the clock on civil rights. Well, that turned out to be hyperbolic and psychotic of people who were pushing that narrative. But now that we're in this mess, you can easily say, no, I just want to go back to like 2019. Give me 2019, 2018 America. We're good. The economy was booming. Everything was on the up and up. We were peace deals. I mean, all that stuff. Everybody has something to compare it to now. Make America Great Again. Lower gas prices. Less politics in video games, sports, TV shows, restaurants. Can we just go back to freedom? So, yeah. Let me read a few more comments and then I'm going to wrap up because we're almost at an hour. Jeff Dunnan, Todd Oliver, Taylor Mason are funny and not politically correct. George Carlin, he was another good one. I'll tell you, man, if you even watch movies from like 2012 and 13, those movies are raunchy. They're saying all kinds of stuff. I'm like, oh no, there's no way that would fly today. They would be canceled. Matter of fact, they probably might go back and eventually cancel them and pull those movies down. That's how weak we have become. Everybody's just weak now. Everybody wants to be a victim. Everybody's offended and soft and fragile and frail. And it's just sad. Then you got these hate crimes, hoaxes, 3 of them in the last week. 3 hate crime hoaxes. People painting swastikas and writing the N-word. Black people doing this. I can't believe it. How can you sink so low? How can you think so lowly of yourself? It's a self-hatred thing. What else motivates that? Obviously, Jussie Smollett inspired a generation to see themselves as a victim. They promote it. They tell you there's currency in it. There's virtue in seeing yourself as a victim. There's virtue. But there's such a lack of actual hate crimes that people are like, well, I can just manufacture one. I can just paint a swastika. I won't get caught at all. So it's very low IQ, very stupid, very dumb. It shows like a low sense of self-worth and inferiority complex. It's embarrassing. But overall, it's just sad. You just hate yourself that much that you have to stoop to that level. Love that flag behind you, Mike. It's actually a tapestry. It's huge. It covers my whole wall. But if it were a flag this size, I would fly it out in my front yard. I do have a flag out in my front yard. Nice flagpole. Is RSBN still banned on YouTube? No, we're not banned. Shockingly, we're not. We're on the verge. I mean, we're always on the verge, but no, we're still on YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We've migrated to Rumble. Actually, what's happening is there are more live concurrent viewers on Rumble than on YouTube. And that's going back like 3 rallies now, because there was a rally, I want to say Trump's second rally this year, we had a channel strike. And because of that, we didn't live stream on YouTube for his rally that weekend, but we did on Rumble, and we broke their all-time record. And then from then on, everybody's watching on Rumble. There's still people that watch on YouTube, but most people watch on Rumble. And I'm just like, YouTube, you're losing all that money. I mean, you could easily just rake in those super chats and all that money, all the ad revenue. They just don't want it, apparently. How can we chat on Rumble? I don't know, man. Let me not even say anything. I really want to live stream on Rumble, but it's just, I hope that there's some improvements coming soon to make it easier for smaller content creators to live stream over there. YouTube gets kickbacks. I don't know about the chat on Rumble. I really don't. I have no clue. It's hard to even like, I don't even watch live streams on Rumble. I almost don't even get on Rumble. I actually like Odyssey better for alternative like videos. It kind of functions more like YouTube, believe it or not. What else is going on, guys? Give me some breaking news stories. I just feel compelled to continue this live, but if there's nothing else, then I will wrap it up. I really just thought that everything I was covering would take so much longer. And now that it's done, I'm like, but I still want to talk about more, but I don't want to necessarily repeat myself. I pretty much repeat myself every day, let alone repeat myself twice or 3 times in the same stream. That's hard. Xavier says, hey, Mike, how are you? My brother from another mother. Haven't seen you in a while. I'm doing good, man. Just living that Florida life. Unfazed by this demonic takeover of our country. I'm just not really fazed by it. But still very much engaged in this fight. Very much. Actually, I think I've got an idea. Hold tight there. There is somebody who sends me a lot of videos. Some of them are really good, and I end up using them in my live stream, but some of them aren't, and I get them all day long too. So let me see if there's anything in there that I have not talked about yet that might be good to cover. And if I don't find anything, just give me a second. I'm just browsing. If I don't find anything legit, then I'm gonna just wrap the stream for real, because I don't want to waste anybody's time. You know, I'm just sitting here, and maybe you guys enjoy it. It's really surprising that. I mean, I'm humbled by so many people sitting here taking time out of their Thursday to watch me talk, but at the same time, I want to be providing something meaningful. Yeah, so like Bill Gates's stuff, there's whistleblowers. Oh yeah, there's Project Veritas. Obviously, I can't touch that, but Project Veritas, something you need to look into if you haven't seen it yet. Project Veritas, very interesting, very revealing. Actual whistleblowers, and just not even whistleblowers, undercover, legit journalists. You have real journalists. Very good stuff. So that's it, you guys. I'm seriously wrapping this stream. I do want to thank everybody who tuned in today. You guys are special. Great bunch of people that tune in and watch me on this channel. Make sure that if you're new, you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss a live stream. Follow me on all the social medias. Just search Mike Nificent 813. I'll pop right up. I'm on Getter. Follow me on Getter. Follow me on Telegram. I use Telegram like I used Facebook. Keep in mind, I will not live stream tomorrow because I'm traveling, but I will. I'm going to have to cover that next week, Luciano. I got to wrap actually right now. But You guys, I will catch you in the next stream. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.